Hey guys, and welcome to another episode. Today in this video, we're going to show you how to mount up a tower strut bar. Now, for our vehicle that we're working on today, we have a 2001 Volkswagen Golf, and the car does not come with top mounts where we're going to mount these bolts through, and it does not come with an OEM strut bar. So we bought one online, and we're going to show you guys today how to mount it up. So if you're unsure what a tower strut brace is, what it does is it's a bar that connects this top, the crown right here, which is the top of the strut, to the opposite side. And what it does is it makes sure that when you go over a bump, say the bump is on this side, when this side of the car will go up, it transfers that energy across the top so that this does not flex independently from this side. So what happens is this, when this goes up, because of that bar transfers the energy over, the energy is not twisting the frame because there's not anything up top that's connecting it. So right now we have the bottom, so we have this tower right here that connects down to the frame of the car and up, but there's nothing up top that really holds everything together nicely. Now this tower strut bar is gonna really make a difference in handling and especially in larger vehicles. However, for smaller vehicles, even still, you will notice a difference with this. So what we're doing is we're gonna be mounting up a strut bar that's gonna be connecting up both sides, just kind of like that. And we've got two bolts on each end that we're gonna have to drill out on the top of our strut tower in order for this to work. Now just for reference, on my 2009 Mini Cooper John Cooper Works, you can see that there's 3 bolts up top here, and that is where you would typically mount up a tower strut bar. So you take these nuts off, put the tower brace over top, and then put those bolts back in, and it'll connect up this side to this side. The Volkswagen is a little bit different though. There's a nut that's found on the top center underneath that cap, and if you can see right here, that is how we install and hold up our mount into the vehicle. So we don't have those 3 bolts that we were talking about, just like we had on the Mini. Now that's normal, you'll find that from car to car. However, the typical style that you'll see is 3 bolts, just like how we saw on the Mini. But that's not a big deal. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drill out a hole, just like what we have right here, and we're gonna be drilling out 2 of them on each ends so we can mount them up. And we're gonna show you how to do that. So to mount up the ECS strut bar in the proper spot, what we need to do is first align it on each end. And once we have it in the correct position on both sides so it's symmetrical, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a punch and punch through the center of here to have a marking point so that our drill will be able to go right through the precise exact spot that we want. So we already went ahead and we drilled out one of these. Which one? This one. So we drilled out this one right here just to give you guys an idea as to what it's supposed to look like. Now we're gonna show you how to do it for this one. Now, what we did first, we drilled out one of them to give it a good spot. And then once we did that, we put the bolt and nut that was included. See, that's our nut and bolt. Once we did the one, we came to this side. And once we had that done, we drilled out this side. And then once we do that, we're gonna put the nut and bolt through there. And then we're gonna punch and drill this side and then that side again. So what we're doing is we're hopping back and forth to make sure that this is properly aligned and the bolts line up exactly where we want. Now, what's kind of weird is that when we were trying to align this up and try to make it symmetrical on both ends, we noticed that like the little cup part, so like the little round part of it, doesn't exactly conform to the strut circle, hole, whatever you want to call it. So we aligned it like this, and this is the best way that we found for it to work, because if you grab the light, you can see that it's slightly closer to the left, or to the right rather, than the left. And if you can see, it's slightly closer to the right than it is for the left. Now that's normal because we lined that up for both ends, so it's gonna be the same thing on both sides. So for this end, we're gonna show you how to mount up the bolt, the washer, and the nut so that this side of the strut bar is in place. So we went ahead and drilled out the left side right there. And now to line it in place, we've got the bolt with a washer on one end, and that's gonna go on the top of the strut bar. So we're just gonna feed that through the hole. And then from the underside, we're gonna attach that nut. Now what essentially it's gonna look like is from underneath here, up inside the actual strut tower, underneath, because we drilled a hole, it should connect. And if you can see, we can push on the bolt. Look, just push it up and down. See how it's moving like that? So once you just have it snug and hand tight, you can grab an Allen wrench and tighten it down for good. So if you can see on the top, we have the bolt and the washer on top, and from the bottom side, we mounted up our nut. Now once we have this tight and secure in place, not only hand tight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move back to the driver's side with another bolt, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. So what we did was we drilled that side, bolted it in, came to this side, punched the area that we wanted using our Tecton punch. I'll have links for them in the description box, and then we drilled it. After that, we put our bolt, our washer, and everything on the top on this end, once we had that through, and then back from the other side under the wheel well, we went up and we tightened it in place. Now the nuts, the bolts, all that stuff was included inside of our kit. So just tighten it up, and then we'll move on to the next step. So if you can see right now, we've got both of them just hand tight, and it's snug. Now for this end, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find our second hole, and we're gonna go right in the center of it and use a center punch. So that right there essentially made like a little divot for our drill bit to step into. So once we have this ready, we're gonna grab our cordless drill with our DeWalt carbide bits. Now these are very important because these are meant to drill through steel. And because of it, it's going to be able to go through it rather easily. So you don't want to stress too much on this. You don't want to push too hard. You just want the drill bit to do its thing. So once you have it going, you're just going to let it, you're going to put moderate pressure, but not too much. Now when you're drilling, you don't want to drill all of it in one shot. So you want to drill a little bit, take it off, let the drill bit cool, do the same thing. Drill a little bit, let it cool. Now if you need to, use a little bit of lubrication, so WD-40 or anything just to keep the tip lubricated. Now once you go through it, you should have a hole that looks something like that. We have to make sure that this is the proper size. So if we need to go to another step bigger, all that we do is replace our drill bit that we used with a larger one so that we have the appropriate sized hole. So this right here is the drill bit kit that we got. Now we started off with the 1/4 inch and now we moved up to the 5/16. So once we have the second drill bit, we're gonna mount it into our drill and then finish off so we have the proper size hole that we need for our bolt, nut, and washer to go through to secure the strut bar in place. So now for the second step, using the 5/16, we're gonna cut down the hole and make it to the appropriate size. So now at this point, we've got a nice hole right through the center, and we can mount up our bolt and our nut. Now before we do this, once you test it out, make sure it's a good spot, we're gonna take it out and we're gonna use a little bit of touch-up paint just to protect the steel from rusting. Now the touch-up paint that we're gonna be using is the touch-up paint that you'd find at your local dealership. So this right here is a touch-up paint for my Honda. So you can see right here that it looks just like a paintbrush or whatever that you'd see girls using when they're painting their nails. That's essentially what we'd be doing to the metal. Now because we don't have the touch-up paint for the Volkswagen, we're gonna install this tonight, and then tomorrow we're just gonna take out the bolts that we install and put touch-up paint over those little areas. So you can go to your local dealership, find the appropriate color code that you need, and then slap some on to prevent your car from rusting. So once you've applied some touch-up paint on your car, you can go ahead and put your new bolt, the washer, and the nut from the underside of the car. Now it's a lot easier if you're using a jack stand for this because you can get your car up and you're gonna have enough room to stick your hand underneath the fender to get access to the nut and tighten it up. Once you have the passenger side done, you can now move over to the driver's side and finish up the last bolt. So we have one of them in and we just need to use a center punch again and now drill out that hole so we can put our second hole and our second bolt through here to secure it in place. Now when you take the strut bar off, that's essentially what it should look like. So you've got one hole there and the other one right there. And if you can see, the metal is actually pretty thick. Now that's normal, that's what the top of the strut tower should look like. So with it like this, we cleaned off any dust, any of the metal shavings that were in this area. So we cleaned all this up. Now we just need to throw it back on, put copper anti-seize onto the bolts, and then everything is gonna be good to go. So now that we have to tighten everything back up, we're gonna be working with the first bolt that we made our hole and our bolt through. So we're just gonna tighten that up by hand. We're gonna tighten all this stuff afterwards later. We're gonna do the first one, we're gonna go back to the second one that we drilled, which was this one over here on the left. Make sure it's nicely aligned. So it goes bolt, nut, and then, no, what does it go? It goes bolt, washer, nut. There we go, that's right. So again, we're gonna be tightening this up by hand. Now back to number 3, which is found over here, the inside on the driver's side. Oh, just kidding.
Over my hand.
Go ahead.
Breaks like that.
Elbow deep, almost. And finally tightening up the third over here. That's the inside. And it's same thing, we're gonna be tightening up the nut from underneath inside the fender. Now you don't really need to apply anything on here. Don't put any copper anti-seize on the threads. All that we're doing is we're gonna be putting, where is it? Anti-seize on the outside part on here. Now the reason why we're doing that is because that's gonna be in the wheel well. This is eventually going to rust. So we're just gonna be putting something on there to keep it nice and shiny and non-corroded. So we're gonna have that found like this, and then we're gonna tighten it up using an Allen wrench. As soon as you're done that side and you tighten it up by hand, you can then move back to this side and tighten it up by the impact gun. Now you can use an impact gun like this that I'm using right here. Now this doesn't tighten it up that much. You can use this or you can use the hand method. Now it doesn't really matter. All that you're doing is you'll be tightening this up to about 40 foot-pounds of torque. And just do that for both on this side, both on this side, and then lower the car back down onto the ground. And after we're done that, the installation is done. Go for it. Give her a rip, bud.
Should probably only do this when it's on the ground.
Yeah, well, yeah, bottom line is it's not moving.
Yeah.
So, verdict, what's going on? So, we did notice a slight change in handling in the front end. It does stay a little bit stiffer, but it's not as, say, noticeable as, say, a set of lowering springs or coilovers. Something like that is gonna be much more drastic than the slight amount of flex that you're gonna get from the front end. Is there no flex now? I don't know, but it's a lot more diminished. And you're gonna notice this on smaller cars, larger cars, like everything really. It all depends on how the manufacturers designed it. Did we notice a difference? I would say yes.
Yeah.
Is it huge? Probably not. Not really.
No, it's not too big, but it's a good supporting mod if you have done coilovers or other suspension modifications.
Yeah, and if you want to do more stuff to your car, you want to track it, you're going to be doing, say, track days, this is definitely something that's going to be good for your chassis. Otherwise, guys, if you have any questions regarding the video, throw it down in the comment section below, and we'd be happy to help. Again, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
So, ECS Tuning decided to put the sticker on the proper way. Oh wait, nope, goes on that way.
So show it on the car. What does it look like?
All right.
So when we mount it up the way that it should, so with like that in front, and the same thing on that side.
Genintut.
That's a 9. 9.
No, it's.
That's a 9.
That's it.
That's a 9. 9. Nin. I don't know. But yeah, bottom line is it's upside down. Like, look at, spin around just for the guys if they're wondering. We're not putting it on backwards. That's the way it goes. Can you please tell me how we're gonna put that in there?
Ooh, that's how, right?
Done.
Boom.
Mint.
That's how
they're gonna have to
designed
screw it in there on that side.
Yeah,
right.
That's right there.
And then right there.
And then through the coolant hose, and you're good.
Yeah. Beautiful. Good job, ECS.
Yeah, that's.
Did they give you more stickers, maybe to redo that?
Nope.
No. Good. Good job.
Great job.
Whoever's the sticker guy for this for the strut bar.
Find a new job.
Yeah.
You're not good at this one.
You had one job, man.
And they're not even straight. Wow.
One job. Is it not straight?
No, look down. It's ever so slightly off.
Well, it is. Look at the first D. Or E, or whatever the heck this is. Yeah, E. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right.
Okay, so let's install this backwards. Up his gooch.
No.
Come on, it'll be fun, I promise. Give it.
Yeah.
Yeah, come here, give me your pull.
Grab it.
Hey, shh. Don't touch it.